Chris Difford and Glenn Tilbrook, highly acclaimed songwriters and leaders of the now disbanded English pop group Squeeze.
Hi, I'm Lisa Robinson, and tonight on Radio 1990, my special guests are Glenn Tilbrook and Chris Difford.
Whatcha?
Welcome to Radio 1990.
Thank you.
Now, I've got to ask you right off, why on earth, after 9 or 10 years of struggling with a band called Squeeze and playing in pubs and putting out 5 albums, and you finally got to a point, you sold out Madison Square Garden, I remember it seemed to be one of the most exciting nights of your musical career. Why did Squeeze break up?
Interesting question, that. I always thought that the fun of being in a band was the enjoyment of playing together and then seeing it progress. And as time went along, we progressed from pubs to clubs to concert halls to places like Madison Square Gardens. And somewhere in there, along about last year, the fun dropped out of it and it became more like a job, I think. The incentive to actually enjoy being in a band dropped out, and that's something not tangible that you can put your finger on. It's either there or it isn't, and it stopped somewhere.
Did you both feel it at the same time?
I think I felt it just a little bit earlier. I felt it at the rehearsals of the last album. It just seemed to me like it, you know, here we were in the rehearsal rooms again working on another album, and, you know, the same old questions were being asked and so on and so forth. And I started thinking I'd really like to be in a room where people were, you know, really excited about the project. So here we are, excited again.
Well, now, just before you tell me about the new project, there were still moments, weren't there, where it was wonderful for you? I mean, I remember backstage at Madison Square Garden that night, and you seemed very emotional about it.
Yeah.
It was definitely good fun at times. I'm not saying that the band ceased to be fun completely, but I think that the drive had gone out of the band. Whatever we were aiming for, and I'm not quite sure what it was. I don't think we ever had any specific goal in mind, but whatever we were aiming for, I think we'd missed the boat somehow.
What were you aiming for?
Interesting question.
The goalpost, I think, rather than the goal.
And was there ever any doubt that the two of you would continue to work together?
No, I don't think so.
As a songwriting team and as a performing team?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do? Did you just sort of look at each other one day and say, well, that's it, we've had enough, next?
Well, I remember driving along in Chris's car. I hadn't got a car myself. And
why not?
I'm just learning how to drive now. It's a bit late, I know. And it's a sort of awful thing that had been at the back of my mind for about 6 months, and that's how long it had taken me to agree to myself, after giving Squeeze a fair chance to either buck up or get more interesting again, because I thought that, well, perhaps it's going through a bad stage, perhaps I'm having a negative attitude towards it or something. But it turned out I really thought that it was time to wrap it up, and I spoke to Chris about it, and he'd been feeling the same way.
I mean, it took all that time for you two to even discuss it with each other.
Yeah, I think it's something that really had to stew for quite a while. I mean, it wasn't a rush decision. There was like 6 months involved in thinking about it. Because obviously, after 9 years, you know, like working with the different musicians in the band, it would be totally unfair just to think about it for 2 weeks and then turn around and say, okay, there's the cards, get out of it, you know.
So now what are you doing? You have a new band?
Yeah, we're working on it.
You told me when I spoke with you a couple of months ago, I think you said that you were going to have a new band probably by July, and that there might be some well-known people in the band that would necessitate the break. Frank Sinatra, who else?
Dean Martin.
Now, you said that it might force the breakup of some other bands. Did that happen, or...?
No, it didn't. I think these people have come from other bands that have just broken up. I have a lot of bands have seemed to have broken up over the last 6 or 7 months.
Didn't you once have a very strong feeling about loyalty, and you sort of were disparaging about other bands that had broken up and that didn't stick together and try and make it work?
Well, you can always stick together. I mean, Squeeze was in a really good position as far as its reputation, and our sales were going up. We were playing to more people. But it's, I think, you know, the absolute bottom line is whether you're enjoying what you're doing, whether you feel there's any heart in it. Squeeze could have continued as a good business proposition, I think.
Do you take your songwriting very seriously? You've been compared to Lennon and McCartney and Gilbert and Sullivan and Lever and Stoller, and sort of thought of as this tremendously valuable songwriting team. How do you feel about that?
Serious.
You do? I mean,
I've got a piece of paper here and a pen.
you really have thousands of songs? Wait,
Yeah,
hold on a
we've got
minute.
I do actually have the latest song.
Just so happens.
We've got 5 more like it at home. You see the millions of songs in there. I don't know if you can get a close-up on them. Start to Fall,
When do you write these?
Wagon Train.
When do you write these? I mean, if you're in the studio and then you're on tour, you've been on the tour for the better part of 9 years, haven't you?
Yeah, we've had quite a lot of time off though since the band dissolved. What's that, 7 or 8 months now, so that's quite a time.
So now, when did you decide to put this new unit together, and who's in it?
Good question.
Good question.
You mean you don't know who's in it, or you didn't remember when you decided to put it together?
No, we've been deciding to put it together for months, but it's been, rather than have auditions and that, which is what we used to do with Squeeze, I think that whole process is intimidating both for us and for the other people involved. We decided to get people down and just play and see if it worked. So it's been a fairly casual way of assembling a band.
Well, what do you mean? Don't they know it's an audition? Isn't it?
Well, it's
Same
sort of
thing?
unspoken that it's an audition, but it's not an audition as such. No one gets an hour, which is what we used to give people. We used to run through 3 songs, because if you're auditioning 70 keyboard players, there's no way you can give everyone a fair crack of the whip. You have to be a bit sort of mercenary about it.
Also, it's been pretty much word of mouth too. Like the 2 people that we originally started forming the band with, sort of put the word about in the music business, I suppose, that we needed certain people and certain people turned up.
So do you have any people set yet? Any names that you can...
Well, we have. We're working with 5 people, but it's not a definite format yet.
So you don't want to say who any of them are. What are you doing now with Grandmaster Flash? And how did that come
in the
about?
studio right now.
What are you late for now with Grandmaster Flash? Now, how did that come about, and what is it?
It's interesting that actually. I don't think anyone's quite sure how it came about. I think someone was talking to Sylvia Robinson, who runs Sugar Hill Records, about the possibility of us working with Grandmaster Flash, and she liked the idea. So we sent over a few songs, and...
Are they regular songs, or are they rap songs, or what?
Well, a bit of both, really.
Really?
It's very difficult sitting at home making demos and trying to rap them. Not being much of a rapper myself.